Good morning everyone. On behalf of Mind IAS, I welcome you all once again. Today I am going to cover a small topic, that is transportation, and this topic is in continuation with our previous topic because we have already started the chapter life processes, and in life processes we have done with your nutrition part, we have done with respiration, and today I am going to teach you something about your transportation in human beings. So let's begin with the topic. So name of today's topic is transportation in human beings. Okay. So transportation means, if in a very layman language, if you have to comprehend the word, that what is the meaning of transportation. Transportation means sending something from one place to another place. Okay. So inside the human body, this transportation work is going on. But the question is that who is responsible for this transportation? In class 9th, you have already studied the connective fluid, and I hope you remember about blood and lymph. All these are the liquid connective tissue which is present in human being, which is responsible for the transportation of different things from one place in the body to the another place. So first we'll start with the fluid for transportation, blood and lymph. So we'll start with your blood. So if you see blood consists, the major part of the blood is made up of your plasma and formed elements. So plasma consists of 40 to 45% of the blood percentage, and formed elements will consist of your RBC, red blood corpuscles, WBC, white blood corpuscles, and your platelets. So blood is the, you can say, fluid medium for transportation inside the body. So if you ask two students, those who are not very much aware that how the things is transported inside the blood. So in the beginning I have said that blood have majorly two components. One is plasma and another one is your formed elements. So plasma transport your carbon dioxide. Blood consists of two things, that is your plasma, and another one is your formed elements. So plasma will responsible for transport of what? Transport of carbon dioxide, transport of some nitrogenous waste, transport of some nitrogenous waste. And if you see what is the formed elements also consist of three things, that is RBC, WBC, and the last one is your platelets. Okay. So we'll discuss more in this chapter about RBC and platelets, not about WBC. So RBC, which is basically responsible for the transportation of your oxygen. And in this carbon dioxide, nitrogen, as well as food, or you can say nutrients. Nutrients also transport with the help of plasma. So blood, if you see as a whole, it's not a single component. It's a liquid which is made up of many things. And basically if you categorize those many things will be categorized into two categories. One is plasma and the next is formed element. Plasma part is basically, if you ask to someone that blood is responsible for transportation of what? Students will say that oxygen, nutrients, carbon dioxide, but the moment you ask that which part of the blood. So inside the blood also the plasma is responsible for the transportation of carbon dioxide, nitrogenous waste, and the nutrients. And RBC, the red blood cells, is responsible for the transportation of oxygen. So if we start the transportation in human beings, the major fluid which transport the things inside the body of human being from one place to another place is your blood. Okay. So these are the parts of your blood and what are the different things transported by the blood. Now again and again I am saying transported, and blood is a liquid connective tissue. But how this blood will move from one place to another place? Blood have legs? No, blood have no legs. Then how that blood will move? So blood will, something is there inside the body which can force the blood or which can drive the blood to move from one place to another place. See, anything, any liquid you can take. Say suppose you can take a glass of water. You can take this much of water. open this bottle and pour the water on the ground. So to some extent this water will flow on the floor, okay, but after that automatically the flow of water will reduce. So if we also want blood to move inside human body, there is a driving force or there is something in the human body which can pump the blood from one part of the body to another part, because as you all know that blood is present all across the body from tip to your toe. So what is that something? That is your heart. So most important thing of your body. So after this we will going to discuss the structure of heart, that how the heart can pump the blood all across the body. See, there are two things. One is pumping of blood and another one is purification of blood. Pumping is one thing and purification is another thing. So please remember this minute difference, that the function of heart is only pumping, sending blood from one place to another. Purification part is not done by the heart. The blood is purified with the help of lungs. So the purification part is done by lungs and the transportation part is done by your heart. So heart functions like a pumping station for all the blood which is flowing inside the human body. So next we'll see the structure of heart, what are the different things present in heart, how the blood transport from one place to another place, from one compartment to another, and then for purification process, and after that purification how it comes and it goes all across the body. So the next is structure of heart. I have already drawn the structure of heart on the board as you see. So if you see, please be careful when you are studying the structure of heart, because suppose if I am drawing, I am using my right hand for the structure of heart. So right portion of the heart on this board is, I have labeled left portion, and my left portion I have labeled right portion. So please be careful of that, okay. So if you see heart have basically 4 large chambers, okay. We divide or we classify heart into 2 ways. One is we divided the heart into 4 chambers, and another way is we divided the heart into 2 parts, that is the right part and the left part. As you see in the diagram, this is the, if I draw a line, this is the right part of the heart, okay, and if I draw this line, this is the left part of the heart. So either you can classify it consists of 2 parts, or it has 1, 2, 3 or 4 chambers. So if question will come that how many chambers of heart human being have, so human being have 4 chambered heart which can perform different types of functions. So right auricle, the lower section is right ventricle, this side the upper section is left atrium or auricle, and the lower side is your left ventricle. If you see that this right portion and this left portion, there is a gap, this is a gap. So this gap is called septum. The right portion is completely separated by the left portion with the help of a gap which is called septum. Now if you see books in higher classes, so in that case instead of septum what they have given interauricular septum or interventricular septum. What does that mean? That means that the space which is present between 2 auricles is called interauricular septum, and the space present between these 2 ventricles from this place to this place, this space is called interventricular septum, okay. And collectively if you have to say, you can say that it is a septum, but if it is present between 2 auricles, it's interauricular septum, and if it is present between 2 ventricles, it is interventricular septum, okay. Now if you see that right auricles and right ventricles is also separated by these kind of structures. So this is the structure of a valve and the name of this wall is tricuspid wall. So right part of the heart contains a wall, and the name of the wall is tricuspid wall, and the left side of the heart contains a wall named bicuspid valve or mitral valve. Okay. Now if you see this pipe like structure upside and below, so this structure is called, superior vena cava, and this is called inferior vena cava. Like I have said, the function of heart is to transport. Okay, transport what? Transport where? How? Okay, so this superior and inferior vena cava, see, inside the human body so many functions are going on, and oxygen is continuously utilizing and carbon dioxide is producing. Okay, so if the amount of carbon dioxide is more inside the blood is collected by all the veins. Okay, and all the veins, they come and join this larger vein, which is superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. If you like put your hand like this, okay, so what is the function of superior vena cava? Superior vena cava bring impure blood from the upper portion of the body. What includes in the upper portion of the body? Upper portion of the body includes your both the hands, shoulders, your neck region and your head. So this part of the from this part of the body, the blood is collected with the help of superior vena cava, and the lower part of the body like thoracic, abdomen, lower abdomen and leg region, the blood is collected by your inferior vena cava, and all the major this artery will pour the impure blood. What is the meaning of impure blood? Means the blood which is rich in carbon dioxide content, not the oxygen one. Okay, so this superior vena cava and inferior vena cava, they collect impure blood, or you can say deoxygenated blood from all across the body and pour into the right atrium. So the function of superior and inferior vena cava is to collect the impure blood throughout the body. Now if you see this structure is your pulmonary artery. Okay, so pulmonary artery will carry pure blood from right ventricle, or impure blood from right ventricle of the heart to the lungs for purification. And here I have written pulmonary veins. They will bring the oxygenated blood from lungs to the left portion of the heart. Okay, and then there is one more structure. This is called aorta. Aorta is a major artery which can supply or send the oxygenated blood throughout the body. See very carefully, if question will come, you have to read the question if it will come from this topic, because the major mistakes which students can do is, see, in normal case if you see, artery in human body will carry always oxygenated blood and veins will carry deoxygenated blood. But if you see the structure of heart, in heart the deoxygenated blood is carried by your pulmonary artery and oxygenated blood is carried by your pulmonary vein. Okay, and the protective layer, outermost layer of the heart which is protective in nature, its name is your pericardium. Now you people are confused that from where blood is coming, where it is going, how it is purifying and how the heart is pumping from here and there and what. Okay, so there is no need to worry on this, because I am drawing a next picture for you people in which I can explain the process of circulation, or I can show you the path of circulation, that how the blood from body come to the heart, then it will go to the lungs for purification, then once again it will bring back to heart and then it will supply to human body. So I am making a very simple diagram. I am not exactly making the structure of heart, because structure of heart is bit difficult to draw and understand. So I am drawing a this is a box diagram, you can say. Body parts, this box we depicts as lungs. This is your right auricle, right ventricle, left auricle and left ventricle. Okay, so in previous diagram, we have seen different structures and parts of the heart. Now we can understand that how the circulation part is complete. From where the blood is coming, where it is going, the place where it is get purified, and then once again it is coming back to heart. So we start from body parts. Inside the body, the cells are continuously in functions and they are doing so much of work. So when they are using so much of work, they are utilizing oxygen for the production of energy, and in the byproduct they are producing carbon dioxide. So after some time, the blood inside the body is full of your carbon dioxide. So you imagine that body is doing the functioning, okay. So this is your deoxygenated blood. And who will carry this deoxygenated blood? Veins will carry the deoxygenated blood, and they will take this blood to your vena cava. Okay, vena cava is of two types, superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. Superior vena cava bring blood from upper part of the body, and inferior vena cava bring deoxygenated blood from lower part of the body. Now very carefully you see, suppose vena cava is bringing your, say this is blood, okay, this is your deoxygenated blood. What happens to this deoxygenated blood? This deoxygenated blood from right auricle, it goes to your right ventricle. Now the blood is in your right ventricle. From there with the help of what? This is which kind of blood? This is your deoxygenated blood. This is your deoxygenated blood. And who will carry this deoxygenated blood to lungs? This is carried by pulmonary artery. This is carried by pulmonary artery. Okay. So this deoxygenated blood with the help from right ventricle, with the help of pulmonary artery, it will goes to your lungs for the process of purification, or you can say for the process of oxygenation. Now one point which you have to kept here in mind, because if you see the previous diagram, I have written a labeling, I have given a labeling named semi-lunar valve. Okay. So on the mouth of this right ventricle, a valve is present, and the name of that valve is semi-lunar valve. And the valve which is present between right auricle and right ventricle is your tricuspid valve. See, wherever valves are present in human heart, why they are present? They are present to prevent the backflow of the blood. Once the deoxygenated blood will leave the chamber of right ventricle, this semi-lunar valve will prevent the backflow of blood once again into the right ventricle. So wherever valves are present in human heart, they prevent the backflow of the blood. Now the deoxygenated blood reach to your lungs, and the process of oxygenation will happen. After the oxygenation process, then who will carry the blood to your left atrium? This is which kind of blood? This side I have written deoxygenated blood. Now this side I am writing oxygenated blood, because this blood is purified by your or oxygenated by your lungs. And who will carry the oxygenated blood to the left atrium of the heart? This side I have written pulmonary artery. Now this is your pulmonary vein. Okay. So be very careful of these pulmonary artery and pulmonary vein. If you see the normal body circulation, veins are bringing the impure blood to the heart. But from heart, it is who is bringing? Pulmonary artery is taking the impure blood to the lungs, and after oxygenation, pulmonary vein bring the oxygenated blood into the left auricle. So now the oxygenated blood comes in your left auricle. With the help of bicuspid valve will open, and then it will come to the left ventricle, and left ventricle is connected to your aorta, and aorta is further divided into fine arteries, and these arteries will carry oxygenated blood once again back to the body. Now once again the body will use this oxygenated blood and do lot many functions. After doing that, the blood is rich in carbon dioxide once again. Then the carbon dioxide rich blood is once again carried out by your vein to right auricle, to right ventricle, then to lungs. Process of oxygenation will happen. Oxygenated blood come to left auricle, left ventricle, aorta, and from aorta to arteries, and it will reach to different body parts. So you can see this picture, and here which valve is present, this side your bicuspid valve is present. So you can say this is the, you can say, pictorial representation of a flow of circulation of blood in human heart to lungs, then heart, and then to body parts. So this is a box diagram showing circulation of blood in human beings. Okay. So with the help of this diagram you can understand how the blood is flowing from different parts of the body to heart, then from heart to lungs, and from lungs to once again heart, and then to body parts. Now whenever you study about the transportation in human beings or circulation in human beings, it's like human being we have double circulation. We use a word or a term called double circulation. What that does mean about double circulation? See, double means two, okay, and circulation means rotating something, rotating two times, okay. So if you see human heart, blood is coming two times in the heart and then leaving again. So first time the blood is coming into the right portion of the heart, and then this impure blood will leave the heart and it will go to lungs. And for the second time the blood once again will come to the left portion of the heart, and from this place it will go to your body. So two times the blood is coming inside your heart. That's why we can say that human circulation is which kind of circulation? It is a double circulation, because the flow of blood happening inside the heart twice, okay, and the right portion of the heart is completely meant for your deoxygenated blood, and left portion of the heart is your completely meant for oxygenated blood and responsible for oxygenated circulation inside the body. So this is all about the circulation of blood inside the human being. So that's it for today, and we'll very soon meet in New Year in my next video, teaching you some more topic. If you find today's video good, please do like and subscribe our channel. Thank you everyone.